How you doing, my man? Good. My name is Edward. Relax. Let me know when you're ready. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start in about 2 minutes. If you haven't got your refreshments are back over here. We are excited to have you here, and we'll start in about 2 minutes. I could sing it if you wanted to. No. I asked my church to sing. They told me, yeah, I want you to sing it. Solo. You can sing solo, nobody can hear you. I said, okay. I'll sing 10. Yeah, no problem. Sing 10 or 11 all the way. So I'm not going to sing today. But text freedom is it. So this young man, I'm looking at our guest, at our speaker, and he's going to tell me, are we ready? I'm 5 minutes for a good 2 minutes. He's ready with everything. Okay. So please, the cake. If you get more than one piece, the cake top is going to come and get you, okay? But if you don't get any, you're going to miss out on the best. Oh my God. All right, we're going to start in about 2 minutes. Quick housekeeping. Bathroom right here. Now we're gender specific in this event. So there's one room that says women and the other says men. And I want everyone to please fill in the seats over here. I know those pretty green chairs are back there and everybody want to be in pretty green chairs. But we want for optics purpose, we want you to be able to fill all these things in. All right, y'all can take that. So we got that thing coming through. So 1 minute to showtime. As soon as we get Mr. Kenny back, we will be beginning. Thank you guys for coming out. It's a Sunday afternoon, and you could be doing a whole lot of other things, but you came out to support a really cool brother. So you're gonna enjoy this. This book right here. If you don't do nothing else in life, read every page of this book, and I guarantee you, you're gonna have the champion mindset. When you have that champion mindset, things change. So now, all guys, we are getting ready to start. Thank you for coming. Hope you got some refreshments, the cake. Listen, the last 2 pieces, if I come and see that there's 2 pieces not missed out there, the cake top is going to be made. So, I'm not a comedian, I'm not a singer, but I play one on TV, okay? So, trust me, I know what I'm doing. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to start this off with a quick word of prayer, because if you how many know Kenny Burson? You know that he's a corporate preacher. His faith is more important than anything else in life. For friends and family, all of you who came out, we're here for one purpose and one purpose only, to share this new information. His first book, When the Cheering Stops, was amazing. But there were so many questions. How do you get that champion mindset? How do you get to the point where you're going to be cheering? Or when the cheering stops, that you can continue in transition. And that's what this book is about. So this was by command and performance. They were demanding it, and he brought it forth. And I promise you, as I've worked with him to bring it out, and as I've gone through each page on it, I'm amazed, I'm excited. And it's helped me to change some things in my life. It all starts with mindset. So we're going to start off with prayer. Can we all do things? Act like y'all at church. You don't have to bow your head, but just bow your heart. Father, right now we just thank you for the opportunity to come and celebrate and just listen to our good friend, Mr. Kenny Randall. Father, we ask that you not only bless this event, but that those people that are listening online, those that are here, that they get something out of it that's going to help change their lives and position them so they can transition to their next. We glorify, magnify, and lift you up in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
I'm not afraid to drop the bone, brothers. We're not afraid to lift up Jesus' name because what? Jesus is the Christ. So the first order of business, we have a young man that flew in from Houston, Texas. His arms are just sore because he was just trying to fly in and get here on time. This young man is good. There was a group back in the 70s called Ideals. They had a big hit. Well, he sang with that group. And since then, he's done some monumental things in the music business. So he's a part of this whole launch team to get Kenny going. And so we asked him to kind of set the mood straight. And he wrote a song that every time I hear it, I want to just, oh my goodness. So please welcome Texas Queen.
Thank you, God. God bless you all. Thank you all for having me. Thank you, Kenny, for allowing me this opportunity. I just want to say one thing. You know, I know that on the first day when God made the heavens and the earth, he said the first day, he said, let there be light. And then what did he say about the light? It was. By the time he got to the sixth day, he made man in his image, and it was still what? So that means we're all supposed to be walking in what? What kind of a light? Y'all got it. Man, amazing. So my name is Edwin Victory. My ministry is called Text Freedom. And thank you, Johnny, for introducing me. Everybody now calls me Text Freedom because I'm here on a mission. I came from Hollywood, and I'm from Houston, but now I'm on a mission because I know that we have a life, and that life is to live freely in Christ. Is that right? So with that being said, check this song out. I wrote this in December, and now it's becoming something great because I see all you great people here. God bless you all. It's almost like this. I'm living a good life. I'm feeling alright with every step. I'm reaching new heights. Hardly I'm so alive. I'm living a good life. I'm going and finding my flow. With the party and I did it right. Lord, I'm living that good life. Love to sing life, living fresh and free. In the morning, just my heart and me. Read all the words in the way behind. My days is shining, my mind is light. Got my dreams on focus and my spirit strong. Building up the life of world and what belongs. He's never no need to live with joy and needless praise. I got my dreams on focus and goals on high. Reaching for the sky. Every breath is a blessing, every moment's golden. Learn to what go and life on more. Ain't sunshine in my eyes. No, I'm living that good life. Oh, no, I'm living that good life. Living a good life. I'm feeling alright with every step I take. I'm reaching new heights. Partly, I'm so alive. I'm living a good life. Going and find my flow. Hard and getting it right. Lord, I'm living a. When the world is heavy, I know I'll stay tall. With a heart full of love, we'll conquer it all. Life's a journey. We're here for body, walking side by side. We're chasing the sun, let the shadows fade. Forever we moment until the memories fade. Living up to desire for by. Every day's feels alright. Know we're living that good life. Good. Come on, y'all clap your hands like this. Living our life. We're every step. I'm reaching you. My big heart, which I'm so alive. I'm living a good life. Going low. With heart and I'm getting it right. Lord, I'm living the life of a sugar just as real all time. The sun got a love, I'm blowing my head. The sugar pours down. So long. Keep on going on. Let me the bones, a crack of fire, a whistling song is the moment that you can out. The river is saved and the lesson made. Hold on to the good and slip away from the light. It's the night of the dark slip away. And you're feeling small, but the only thing that will get you when you fall. So wait for the loose, get rid of the bad. Hold on to the good. So days right. Come on, y'all, clap one more time like this. I'm living a good life. I'm living like right. With every step I take, I'm reaching you. My big heart of it, I'm so alive. I'm living a good life. Going by my flow. Hard and I'm getting it right. Lord, I'm living a good life. I want to thank you all. God bless you all. Always remember to live a good life. For the last 6 weeks now, come on, Johnny. For the last 6 weeks, Johnny and I have been working with this wonderful man, Kenny Randall, in that process by being able to hear his messages, read a little bit of his book. My life has been transformed. And I just want to say thank you all for coming out to support him. It's been a journey. We made it here. And he's going to have a great message for you today. And we're thankful to be here with you. God bless you, sir. Thank you.
Every time I go to the event, they give me a little ticket and there's gonna be a surprise and everything. I just go behind and wake up. They ain't gonna give me. I hope you can throw yours away. But we're gonna be picking a whole lot of people. So the very first one. Well, Miss Sanders is going to be. Okay. This is gonna make me seal. 553045. Yeah, I know somebody's gonna be throwing away. We're gonna have to prove that. We're gonna have to have if we have someone to certify this, we get a check out t-shirt. How about that? These t-shirts were designed by one of our design team. Someone in the back of the head on. So we're getting ready to start. Thank you for coming out. This is part of a nationwide tour that Kenny's getting ready to begin. He's going to Nashville, he's going all over. Because the message in this book, the message of his life is something that inspires people and allows people and encourages people to be better. With the champion mindset, you get to be the best that you possibly want to be. So we're just so excited about this. You know what? I wanted to interview Kenny, but he said he had so much to share with me that he didn't want to be interviewed. He just wanted to go ahead on and just share as much as possible. Because coming up, he's got an event that he's going to tell you about. So he wants. I'm almost lost for it. I don't even know what to say. This brother is amazing. How many of you know all of them? All of them. Kenny played in the NFL. He's one of the fastest in the nation 2 years in a row in the 400 meters. We want to make sure about that before now. What did we talk about the 400 yard dash? 440. This guy is amazing, but then it didn't just stop at his athletic ability. he transitioned into the corporate world. So sometimes we get into a situation where it seems like the cheering has stopped. And he, like I said earlier, his first book was When the Cheering Stopped. What happened when you get to the top of your game and all of a sudden it stops? And then, they're no longer cheering. You no longer have all that, the accolades. And people aren't just walking and saying, you just wonderful. He learned how to transition and do it like a champion. So this afternoon, he's going to share some insights that he was able to transition from athletics, from what, Pee Wee, high school, collegiate, and professional, and then into the corporate community, and did that well. Everything Kenny has done, he's done it well. And when you do something well, people look at you and they kind of take notes. So I want you guys to do something for me. Take copious notes. If you have to take it on your phone, he's got a notepad. Because this is what I learned earlier. Note takers are money makers. And if you want to, you got a big deal on that. So if you want to transition to your next, if you want to go to the epitome to your next year, please listen to what this young man is saying. We can say all the wonderful things about him, but the bottom line is documentation beats demonstration. I'm so lost for words because I've been this whole week I haven't slept because this event was that powerful for me. So please give yourself a hand coming out. Please stand on your feet. Reintroduce to you and reintroduce to some of you, Mr. Kenny Randall.
Oh boy, you can sit down. Before you do these kind of events, whether it be preaching, speaking, or whatever the case is, you think of a million different things. You really do it, and it reminded me a little bit. Sometimes when I would be, this is many years ago, I would be in the blocks, and the announcer would come on and give all the things that maybe I had accomplished. And I would be in the box saying, man, just get this over. I said, because I got to run this race. I said, I want to focus on running the race. So I hope you're excited to be here. Now, I know it's a Sunday afternoon. You ate dinner probably. We got a little refreshment stuff for you so you don't go out of your start. Okay, and so I really appreciate everyone being here. I'm going to say some words before I even get started in this discussion, this talk. It's a talk. It's not a presentation, it's a talk. And Johnny alluded to it, but one of the reasons why I wanted to do this is because this was a kickoff. We call it a signature talk. In the book, I actually did this book in an ebook format last year, okay? But then as it began to move and matriculate different places, I realized I needed a hardcover book. I actually needed something on the hardcover because people still use the hardcover. And I had another guy that I talked to last year that I was coaching. He said, do you have it in Audible? He said, because I can't see that well. Okay. He said, so there's so many forms that people read in, learn in, and we've got all those forms available to us today. So I put it in a hard copy. I'm glad I did. I'm excited I did. I want to share some things with you because Johnny said, I want to be with you today. I want to peel back the onion a little bit. I want to peel back the person you probably don't. I'm peeling back from the sports person. I'm peeling back from the corporate person. I'm peeling back some from the ministry person. So you know how I got there. So you know what my track was. How did I get there? How did I find myself? And I'm reminded of this. And first, I want to thank everybody that's online and virtual. We got a lot of people virtually. Let me just look at you and tell you, we're glad to have you here. Glad you came in. People from California, people from the area, people outside the state, people from other parts of the country. Glad you're here. And so I think you can relate to what I'm going to share with you. I got some former Olympians here on virtual. I got some former football athletes here, perennial football players, NFL players on the line, on the virtual. So we're glad to have you here because we just want to talk. And what I'm going to share with you is not the full book, okay? I decided we want to pull just 5 elements out of my book to talk about. It's got 8. Okay? So 5 is the number of what are you believers in here? Yeah. So I got some grace coming here with the 5. So you got 5 elements. It's not all. We actually have 8. Okay? I actually have 8, but I'm going to give you 5. And I can't give you 3 in depth because of time. So I give you enough that I think maybe just whet your appetite a little bit, and you'll know a little bit more about me. I want to read something to you as I start. And I pulled this out because it was important to me. My last book, I didn't get an opportunity to talk about somebody who's really important to me, and that was my high school football trainer. So we didn't get it in the book, but this time I got it in the book. And so I'm not going to read the entire, but I highlighted some pieces I want you to hear. And his name was Coach Charlie Lee. He lives in Missouri. And he went on from high school to go and coach at University of Texas, coach at the Denver Broncos, won a Super Bowl at Denver Broncos on the staff. And then he went to Liberty, Missouri to kind of keep working. He's still working. He never stops working. Okay. And championships aren't just won on the field. There are fortunate quiet moments when no one is watching. There are no crowds, bright lights, or trophies. They're built in the unseen. You see, I'm getting a little emotional here. It's taking me back. In the unseen honors, in the sacrifices, in the discipline, and the willingness to push past breaking. Behind every championship team, every great player, there's a coach who refuses to let them settle for anything less than their best. For me, that coach was Charlie Lee. Now let me share something with you. This lines up with what I'm saying. Because to him, talent wasn't the deciding factor. Execution was. He conditioned us to seize the moment. How many know it's important to seize the moment? To refuse to settle for just enough when the game got done. He made sure we understood that success wasn't about how much or how little ability you had. It was about how hard you were willing to work, and how far you were willing to push. Whether you would allow yourself to be conditioned to your maximum ability. If you did, you would win. Coach Lee taught us that adversity would come on the field and in life. And there would be opponents that tried to get in our heads. Problems at home pressing us. Challenges that made quitting seem like the easiest choice. But quitting was never an option. He taught us how to face those challenges head on. How to push through things. How to keep moving forward, no matter what stood in our way. He never cared who you were or what your background was. He didn't care if you were the most naturally gifted athlete or the last man on the bench. He ignored cries for mediocrity, fatigue, or excuses. If you were to put in the work, he could push past your limits into a version of yourself you didn't even know existed. Champions aren't just about lifting the trophy at the end of the season. They're about the mindset that it takes to get there. The relentless pursuit of excellence. The refusal to give in to pain, doubt, or fear. The knowledge that every ounce of effort, every extra rep, every brutal practice in preparing for the moment when it's all on the line. Lastly, Coach Lee believed in execution over talent, in heart over height, in grit over gifts. And because of that, he didn't just coach players, he created champions. That was my coach, Charlie Lee. You can give a hand. So a lot of that mindset brought me into my sports world in the neighborhood that I lived in, and the people in that neighborhood. It came from a rough neighborhood. Man, it really was, and I had a single mother that had to take care of 4 kids, and but not to give you too much background because it would take us too long to talk about. I got so many stories I'd love to share with you, but because of that, I learned certain ways. My mindset was set as an athlete going into in college. You know, I was a 3-time 400-meter champion in the state of Missouri, 2 times 200-meter champion in the state of Missouri, All-American. Went to USC on a football scholarship. My first year at USC went 12-0 as a freshman, was on the team, and we were national champions. And the story behind it is amazing. It's a really amazing. And the Lord was in that too. So I got to tell you right now, if talking about God or talking about the Lord makes you feel uncomfortable, and those of you that are virtual, you know, bear with me. Because God is always the place for most uncomfortable. He lives in the uncomfortable. He does. It reminds me of a story. And I saw a friend of mine come to the door. I don't know if she's still here or not. Yes, here. We were at a meeting many years ago, and this guy was a very successful speaker, very wealthy speaker. And he gets up in front of the crowd. He tells a story. He did big coliseums and spoke at big coliseums and would pack the house out, and people would just want to be in his presence just to hear his wisdom. He said after he got to speaking one time on the platform, he said he was talking about kind of how God was working to help him build his business. So he said, I got through speaking, and everybody had left the arena almost, and this one guy was waiting down on the edge of the stage, and he had his arms folded and was patting his foot. Like he was disturbed. Like he was wondering, why's that happening? You know, and he sent to the guy, and the guy said, well, that was a good speech. He said, but I can't believe you used God to talk about building a business. And he politely said, well, I don't see how you can build a business without God. That was the end of that story. See, I don't see how you can do what you do. I can't speak for everybody else. I can only speak for what's been done in my business, what's been done in my sports life, what's been done in my ministry life, which we're not talked about. But God had specific steps and phases for me to go through to get there. And the last thing I thought I would be doing is doing what I'm doing right now. How do you feel that same way in your life? Mm-hmm. Yeah. The very thing you thought you would do, you're doing. The very place you thought you would be, you're at. But that's just how the Lord works. Okay? So guess what? Champions are not born. Somewhat they are. They're kind of born. There's an innate ability that many have, but a lot of times it's not been ferreted out. It's not been pushed out. They're built. Champions are built. They're built by the very things I just have to read. And guess what? They're not just sports champions. I want to make sure I had someone ask me, well, is this meeting going to be for men? I said, no. I said, bring the women on. I said, because some of the mindset that I was able to lock in really came from my mother. And I thought about it today. I was thinking about my mother today. She was an entrepreneur that didn't have any guidance. She was. We lived in a 2.5-story home, and she wanted. My sister told me she actually wanted to buy an apartment building down on the corner, but we didn't have enough money for her to do it. So she couldn't get it. So you know what she did? She took our house and made it like an apartment building. We had a renter downstairs on the basement. We had a renter upstairs. The family stayed up in the attic. They lived up there, whole family. And then sometimes she would rent out the east side of the house to a renter. I just thought about it this morning. See, she had the mindset of a champion. She was the first champion in my life. You know, and I like starting a lot of things. I like starting. I'm very inclusive. You know, I've always been since a little boy. I was always inclusive to see how things work. Now, how does this work? How does that work? How does this work? How does that work? And I saw all these little clips and films of kids in the Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts, and they would take the stick and the flint rocks, and they would take a little string and create and start a fire. That kind of deal. Yeah. Well, I tried to do that one day underneath my back porch. We had a wooden back porch that went up to the stairs, right? And I was working real hard trying to make this fire come up. And it wasn't coming up fast enough. So I went and got some lighter fluid. And I helped the fire, help it come a little bit. Now, I'm going to tell you how, now, don't laugh at me too hard. Because how many of you, and I thought I put the fire out. But for some reason, I thought I put it out. And I ran up the stairs, and I remember coming through our back room into the kitchen, and I planted myself against the refrigerator. And my family said, "What's wrong with you?" My mother asked the second time, "What's wrong with you?" And she looked out and she saw smoke billowing. She said, "He set the back porch on fire." But let me tell you something. Thank God for fire chiefs. Because my mother whipped me from the time she knew there was a fire to the time she called the fire chief. And he came in and he said, "Ma'am, you got to stop beating that boy." And she told him, she gave that pat mother answer. "Listen, I brought him into this world." She said, "And I'll take him out of this world." So there were two fires set that day. The fire I set, the fire she set. And I know the wood in no way felt as bad as I felt. But I love that fire department chief when he came in there and pulled that woman off of me. I remember that wooden coat hanger. And they don't do that anymore. But champions are not born. They're made through sacrifice, through circumstances, through victories, through losses, through great things, through small things in our lives. Sometimes we don't even recognize our losses as lessons. Not when we're younger. No, we really don't. So let's talk about choices, because that's the first chapter in the book. Choices. See, champions, now I'll say this, champions make choices, but guess what? Everybody makes choices. What's the difference between champion choices and other choices? Champions make the best possible choices with the right information that they possibly can. And if they make the wrong choice, they own it and they're quick to correct. People who are not don't. Because they want to hurry up and answer the call if they make a wrong choice and move forward. You know, Nick Saban said this. Football coach, Alabama, won all those championships. He said champions choose to do the things they need to versus the things they want to. The things they need to versus the things they want to. There's a lot of things I didn't want to do. But it be to come through sports, through corporate America, even in ministry. But my need to outweighed my want to. See, a lot of people live in their want tos. Oh, I want to do this, and oh yeah, I want to do that, and oh yeah, I want to do this over here. But when you get to a point where your need outweighs your want to, then you're moving in the champion mindset corridor. Because that means now you're convicted about what you have to do. See, I found this about success. You don't build success at your convenience. You build success at your inconvenience. You're going to have to be inconvenienced to be successful. I've never done anything unless I was willing to be inconvenienced. So some of the things I remember, a lot of them, but I remember most poignant ones in my life that I can say, what were the big key ones that you can remember as it relates to what I have in that book? Well, one is that what really changed me were three things: my wins, my losses, and my lessons. My wins, my losses, and my lessons. See, my wins. What set me on the map? I almost went back to what was happening in sports while I was in high school, but I thought I would go up a little bit in college. And for 2 years, I had the fastest time in the world in my opinion. And before all that happened, what really put me on the map was there was a runner from another competitive school that had the fastest time in the world the previous year. He talked all the time about how great he was, about what he was going to do, and how he was going to do it. Any athletes, former athletes in here? Any? Even like sports? Okay, yeah. Okay, good. And so what happened was I calculated how I could beat him. I didn't say a word. I just measured myself time and time again, workout after workout. I saw little changes and shifts. And here's what shifted me. I got a coach from Jamaica. Some of you heard this. His name was Leo Davis. And he had his accent. I didn't even tell darkness. And he said, "Kitty, man, you got to run. You got to learn to run this." He said, because as you run it, you have to realize that it is a journey and not a destination. He told me it was a journey, not a destination, so it would take my mind off the distance, take my mind off the work I had to do to get to the next place. But what most importantly he taught me how to do was run the curve. See, we're taught when we grow up, when we come up as children all the way, aren't we taught to slow down when we get to a curve? Aren't we? You got to slow down when you get to the curve. You got to slow down to get to the curve. Well, he taught me how to run the curve. And I was open to that because that's what I did when I was in school. So when that meet came by, I told myself, I said, I'm going to run this curve, and guess what? He will not catch it. So when we came to the curve, I had about a 1 foot lead. And I came all the way down the straightaway, and we had a 1 foot race all the way down 110 meters right next to it. And when I hit the tape, it was the fastest time in the world. That year, well, see, that set me. See, now I had elevated to this champion status, and I had to keep it. He said, well, it'll never happen again. He'll never do it again. The next time we made the championships, I took him from behind and ran him down. So he said, well, he's the force to be reckoned with now, right? Now that victory itself put me in a status, a world-class status, that now I had to deal with. See, there's places that I believe the Lord wants to put you in. Whether it be world-class status or whether it be just be notability, whether it be responsibility that you're going to have to step into. Because see, a champion mindset, it's the champion that how the champion responds is more important than what the champion does. How you respond to adversity is way more important. Okay, then you're going to have it, because you're going to have it. Anybody have any adversity in here? I know y'all don't have it. Oh, okay. I want to make sure I'm not by myself. Okay, good. I told you then another one was a loss. So it was my senior year. I was going to the Olympic trial that won the NCAA 400 meter champion in the 400. I almost fell on the backstage because I had a bad leg. You know, I found out about champions. They don't make excuses. They just keep building and keep going. And I told a few people about the fact that I had that leg was following me all year. Because I came down the back stretch in the championships and almost buckled and fell. But I finished fast enough to win it, and I had the fastest time. And I couldn't slow down because I had tendonitis, and tendonitis you can only cure by stopping running. And I couldn't stop running because we were going to the Olympic trials. So going to the Olympic trials, I was trying to figure out what I can do. Can I swim? Can I do anything to have enough strength? Because I had to run 4 races at the Olympic trials. And I had the fastest time in the world. And they were already saying, well, he's going to probably be so-and-so from Cuba in the Olympic Games. And I thought about the Olympics from my mindset. I thought about it when I was a freshman in high school and had not even won anything. Had never even won a championship, had not even won the state. I thought about one day standing on the victory stand, hearing the national anthem in the U.S. See, so mindset is important. How you think about things is so important. So guess what? I didn't even get out of the trials. Had people beat me that I beat all year. And so I left the Olympic trials with all that hype, all that expectation, and then I had to tuck my tail and go somewhere else. So I remember I did this. I went to Arizona to get away from everything. My sister was living in Arizona. I went to her place, and my ex-high school coach was now coaching at the University of Arizona. And I never did this. 400 meters was coming on, and these guys are going up victory stand, and I'm whining kind of under my breath, and that same coach I just read about, I told you how it was. And I never knew what he told me. He said, shut up. He said, get up. He said, go forward. He said, shut up, get up, and go forward. You got one more year in football. Make it work. And one more year, made it work. Went 11-1 in my football team. I got drafted by the Cleveland Browns. First offensive player selected. I went to Cleveland. See, sometimes you need someone to tell you, shut up. No. I'm being serious. We need that sometimes. Someone to tell us, shut up. Get up. Go forward. So I shut up. I got up. And I went forward. And didn't look back. Didn't talk about what could have been, what should have been, how it should have worked out. I kept going. And that's kind of how I always live my life. I try not to stay or dwell in places in the valley too long. Because I've had valley places. Anybody heard valley places? I don't stay there long. I don't build a house there. I don't build no condominium project to get off the road and build condominium at pathetic me, and then I have to build a condo. So I can go back on the road and I keep going. So champions make choices. But here's what also champions do. Champions have great habits. Great habits. Champions live in great habits. See, one of the things that I believe habits will always overcome, there's the people that in corporate America or maybe in your jobs and your places that you work in ministry, maybe you're part of, guess what? I told myself that no one would ever outwork me. When I came to the company I just retired from 2 years ago, a friend of mine's in the back room, we both worked at that company. I have people that come in that'll be smarter than me. There'll be people come in there have tools and abilities greater than me. But I told myself that no one would ever outwork me. That was my mindset. See, we talk about David and Goliath, right? But you know when I talk about David? We talk about David in the sense that he fought the man. He fought the lion. And then he killed Goliath. But no one ever talks about the fact that David was a slinger. that David knew how to throw the sling, and you don't show up in the valley and beat a giant just because you just picked up a sling like last week. You bought it at the corner store and picked up a sling. So I think I'll start trying this. No, he practiced it and did it because he came from a tribe that did it. And a really great slinger could hit something 100 yards away. See, it was David's habits. It was, how are your habits? How are your habits to take down your giants? This is going to take some habits to take down your giant. Now, I know he was anointed, and I know the God directed him and all that, but guess what? He still had great habits. Why was he writing songs? Why he was creating music? Because he didn't even go down there to kill him. He went down there. But you know what? And people won't share the fact. He asked, what is the reward? See, what's the incentive? What's the reward for killing Goliath? And they told him, well, you know, you get the king's daughter's hand in marriage. You'll get land appointed to you in the kingdom. And you don't pay any taxes. Now, you know what? That David was inspired. He was inspired because of the habits that he said, wait a minute now. He said, where is this uncircumcised Philistine? They were here to defy the armies of the living God. Where's he at? Let me at him. See, he had a target to shoot because of his hands. I tell young people all the time, they want to know what's the key to greatness. I said, some of the greatest people I've ever been around, I've been around a lot of greatness. It's been their habits. It's not been their intellect. It's not been their smart. It's not been their education. It's been their habits. So outside the habits, okay, next is the A in champion, and that's attitude. You've heard it before. Your attitude determines your altitude. But see, your attitude also affects your mindset. So what's your attitude? Oh, God, attitude. You know, I was, as I said, I went to this company that was just kind of starting when I joined it almost 30 years ago. And I had no idea. There was no salary. Straight commission. Nobody ever even heard of the industry. But see, I believe what qualified me to go there is when God, I told you winning, right? And I told you a loss, right? Now I'm telling you a lesson. And the Lord sent me out into the wilderness. I went to a wilderness place. Oh yeah, I had a great job. Oh yeah, I had great profile, great pedigree, all that was happening. But I got thrown into the wilderness where I had no money, broke, unemployment, trusting God, listening to people. They had great faith. They had great faith. They believed by faith, the people I was listening to, and how God took business people, and because they were willing to put their faith in Him, how He was able to take them to a place they had never been. And I remember saying this, even though my car blew up, even though my car was repossessed, even though we lost our house, you know, I'm talking about certain years went by. See, and so it was a desert place, but I knew when it was spoken that I had an opportunity, I would seize the moment. And it didn't even look like an opportunity. And years gone by from going into that privately held company, it went public when I was in my 7th year. Okay? And I can't even think about what it was. Maybe a $25 million company when I started. I don't know what the number is. I don't know what it was. I just know 2 years ago when I left, it was $6.2 billion. And I knew God sent me here. I knew in the interview, when I spent the first 15 minutes talking about the job and the rest 30 minutes talking about the Lord, and I didn't bring Him up. person interviewing brought me up. I walked out of the meeting. I came down the hallway. A guy met me in the hallway. He said, "Hey, you're interviewing for a job?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You believe in prayer?" I said, "What?" He said, "You believe in prayer?" I said, "Yeah, I believe in prayer." He said, "Then go home with your wife and pray about this. If the Lord says take it and run with it." That's kind of like, shut up, get up, and go forward. So I did. And I saw him at the National Sales Convention. And I was in his room one night. They were getting all the accolades. He's one of the top persons in the country. I said, "Tell me what the key to your success is." He said, "You really want to know?" I said, "Yeah, I want to know." He said, "It's the Lord." I said, "Okay, yeah." I said, "Okay, no, I get that." I said, "I know, I believe in God too. I get you." I said, "No, tell me." He said, "You mean you want to know silver bullets?" I said, "Yeah, I want to know silver bullets." He said, "It's the Lord." I said, you gotta help me with that." He said, "I'm gonna ask you something. This is the most powerful thing that I've learned that I took in my business career. I never let go of this." He said, "Have you made the Lord your senior partner in business?" Y'all hear what I just said? Not do you believe in him, not do you know him, but have you brought him in and made him your senior partner, that he has the last word on what you do. And you don't have the last word on what. That's what they do in law firms. They have senior partners, they have junior partners, but a senior partner has the last say so. And I said, "I'm going to give you the last say so." And little did I know that he was going to elevate me in that business. I was regional vice president for 12 years in the company. I went to, when that time I told you, park kitchen on fire, putting pennies on the altar, just giving everything I had in this little storefront church. And my wife thought I was nuts. She was mad at me too. Not only she thought I was crazy, she was mad at me. I can't go into details because no, I can't. But she was mad at me because she saw me being more than what I was. She knew I was more than what I was. In fact, that first was when the coming hadn't been for my wife's side. She's the one that told me to write it. Okay? So now I go from there in the attitude and then the mindset. That's the M. Okay? And change. Mindset. Mindset's everything. You know, I love telling stories. I got so many of them. I was telling Tyler Pearson, I came in, he one of the master referral network people I've ever met. Yeah, he's in this room. He's one of the greatest masters of network. You know, so much he started a company within our company. We tried to hide it. It got so big, you know, on our hide it. And he was the brainchild. And I don't know where eventually, but it did tremendous revenue. And so anyway, I just got drafted by the Cleveland Browns. And I was out in Los Angeles working out. And this guy was with the Dallas Cowboys, he was a receiver with the Dallas Cowboys. He had been in the Super Bowl the previous year. I think it was, yeah. And he caught the winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. I said, "I'm getting ready to go to training camp." He said, "What can you tell me to do?" He said, "Kenny, when you go to training camp, here's what I want you to do. Act like you own it." So when you go act like you own this and you're not coming back. So I took him literally. I put Kansas City, Missouri. I stopped in Kansas City. I saw my mother. I got me a big steamer trunk. Those big trunks used to have a steamer trunk. I put everything in it that I own, which didn't even fill the steamer trunk halfway. So I showed the training camp with the steamer trunk. And all the ball players, they said, "Dad, what are you doing? What did you bring that big old trunk for?" Why did he say? He said, "Because I'm staying, and I don't know how many of you will leave. Because I plan on staying." Guess what I didn't say? But my mindset. So I took that mindset from there. When I finally left football and went into corporate America, I went to work for IBM Corporation. Yeah, this jock athlete. to pit myself against people that were topping their class in Stanford, topping their class in MIT, topping their class in everywhere. But the Lord had put so much of mindset in me, I knew I could compete some way, somehow. So my mindset was, I know the scripture, about having the mind of Christ. I know my greater seed is in me than he is in the world. But having the mind of Christ, this having the mind of Christ, but having Christ live in you and working it out and walking it out is a little bit different story. So that's the mindset. Lastly, it's perspective. Perspective. Not perception. See, perception is how people perceive you. Perspective is how you see things. How do you see you? How do you see what you can do as a champion? See, this is not a book launch to me. This is not a place to come and sell books and make some money. This is the least on my, and Johnny knows that. I wanted to create an experience. And because of that, we're creating a champion experience. It's a champion huddle experience. How do you see it? You see greatness. See, there's three types of people in this room. It always is. Those who were champions, they're trying to get their edge back. Those who are champions, but look at what can I do to enhance us? What can I do to get sharper? What can I do to get better? And those who desire it. I've done this talk in 3 different places. I've done it in a high school. I've done it in a big church in Kansas City. I've done it in Milwaukee for over 300 corporate executives. Who do you think was my toughest friend? Oh, no. That was the toughest friend. Who do you think was my toughest friend? The high school. Because they'll tell you what they think. They'll fall asleep on you right there in your face. And then they'll be brutally honest. Yeah. They didn't say shut up, get up, and go forward. But I was really amazed by how well they received it. Because they really want it. They're just looking for a sounding board, guys. They're looking for a sounding board, someone they can trust, someone they can talk to. And if you're out there today and you're listening in, let me share something with you. There's more on the menu for you. There's more on the menu. So as I close this out, I'm closing right now. Like, I'm out of time. Almost. Okay, good. I'm doing opening. I thought about it, and as John said, this is just really the beginning. Okay, this is the beginning. Because there's so much more that I believe that we have. You know, the champ within. Everyone in here has a champion inside. Wanting to break out. Wanting to get out. Okay? Trying to bust, trying to come into place, trying to come into position. And that's my role. I've always been about bringing out the best. I've always been about encouraging people to their max. Even when I've gotten the streets here, sharing the gospel with people, my desire is that they come. My desire is that they be changed. Same thing in corporate America. My desire is that that business owner would get what he or she's trying to accomplish. If I can help them get it, then I'm doing my ministry. See, it's all about ministry to me. So I'm marketplace and I'm ministry. So when you see me, you're getting all of it. And I thank God because He's allowed me to walk through these different phases of sports, of corporate, and ministry. And I can bring them all together and use them separately or however He wants me to use them to be able to help people. Because this is all about serving and helping. What we do, I don't care what you do, it's about serving people. How you do it, it's about helping people. So, I had John mentioned about something that I had for you. I have an offer. I'm gonna just give it to you, whether you receive it or not, it's okay. I'm doing a workshop from these 5 pieces I talked about. I'm gonna do an actual workshop, kind of a one-on-one workshop with a group of people. And I'm doing it because here's what I know. Many of you will buy the book, and I thank you for buying the book, but you're not gonna really read it through in detail. See, in the back of the chapters, there's a workbook. In the back of the chapter, I got a question. Many of you will probably just go past the question. Say, that's nice, that's cool, I like that. But when I do the workshop, we're gonna go through the questions. Because I want to help you become the champion in whatever you're trying to be that champion in. And you know what I found about champions? It's not big stuff. Someone said it's not big stuff. It's not big stuff. It's the little things that make a difference. I got a picture in my office of Tiger Woods when he's at his top of his game. He's got a golf club and something like this. He's got Butch Harmon, who was his golf coach at that time, with a pointer pointing in his. That meant to me that even champions need a coach. Yes. I coached the guy, the CEO of a small company a couple years ago, and you know what he told me? He said, Kenny, I've never had a coach. He was successful, he said, but I've never had a coach. He said, I want a coach. So what I'm doing with this workshop is coaching. The workshop is $147, I believe, for the workshop. I'm jumping because it's not a lot of money. Now, it may be a lot of money to try to dig up if you need some more money. But here's how I look at that. And I'm serious now. If you put your life's work, and you're able to codify it and bring it together and put it in a book, it's kind of like a legacy. Everything that you went through kind of had gone through and gone past and been under, and put it in a book. What would that book be worth to you? How much did you charge for that book? I'm talking about your life work. What would you charge for it? $10? $20? $200? $2,000? $5,000? I believe it's worth it. Because I'm looking to do a course probably 6 months from now. And taking the course, corporations, and taking the course, and it's going to be called Transition Like a Champion. How to transition like a champion. I am so excited to have you here. So, champion. Choices, habits, attitude, mindset, and perspective. I just hang on that perspective because you got to have your perspective of your convictions. Certain convictions should never change. When the world's trying to make you change everything. But you got to hold on, you got to hold tight. And don't let go. I appreciate you. I'm Kenny Randall. Thank you very much.
All right, guys, we're going to do a couple more things. We're going to pull another now, have another prize giving. I'd like for all of us to kind of transition over to the step and repeat, and we're going to take a picture in front of that. And Ken's going to be signing books. If you haven't purchased the book, books are for sale. So if you hit that, scan that QR code on the banner, you can purchase the book. Now, what we like to do in the old school, how many been to the old school? I was the principal of the old school. All right. Okay. The old school, you could like, I'm older than dirt. That's on my head. But you're gonna take a picture, and then you may use my finger phone. Let me get it back here. I just finished 7 so.
All right.
You want to take a picture with everybody, with Kenny in the middle. Then he's gonna be signing book. If I can get a name for. And, there's still some food over here. We do not want to take any of that home with us, okay?
All right.
Okay, this is, remember, these were hermetically sealed, so there's no way to stop. Okay. 553046. Oh, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Okay, here, neighbor, she won, I won, now stop. You want to do one more drawing, then everybody starts shifting over here, so we can get this picture. And another thing, what we're gonna do, after we take the picture, we want you to, we're gonna be interviewing over here. So any, information that you have, that you want to share from a video, 1 minute about Mr. Kennedy. So we're gonna do all that over here, we're gonna be signing over here. The t-shirt, if you don't win one, it's only $25. Only. I in the cake, the baby produces that one, so.
I know.
Stand in the middle, and everybody come over this way. You got to separate them from okay. Thank you guys for coming out.
I'm doing great. How are you? He's right here. Well, he was. He was sitting there. I don't know. Must be in the bathroom. What's your name? CC. I'm with Dr. Guy. I'm Edwin. Edwin. Yes.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I knew I missed it, but he just told me that he was in town.
Yeah. That's his stuff right there at the table, but he probably went to the restroom.
So are you the
I did all the video, the graphics, the t-shirts, all of the backdrop. I've been working with him for about 6 weeks. Mr. Mack.
we went to church together.
Oh, okay.
Are you an author too?
I am. I have a book called 7 Keys to Victory. I'm a singer, actually. This is my music. I got it.
All right.
Okay, here we go. Y'all have questions? Okay, let's go. Here we go. I'm getting low, like the brothers do. Here we go, back. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Say champ. Here we go. Champ. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Champ. Here we go.
Like my little camera. She had from the ground right there, about on the floor.
Well, let's do the order. Everybody, get around here. If you hold up the chair, everybody get together. Okay, everybody. All right. You get ready to sign. Right here. I'm in it, I'm taking it off. We got one more drawing. One more drawing.
Hey, man. How you been? You ever need me anything? I'll do all the audio.
And the big number is 53035. 553035.
Okay, yeah. Michael.
Video is starting now. You ready?